Welcome to Stone Soup Poetry Week 2 of our 51st year. Still no sign of our wonderful friends from the assemblage gallery as part of the 4-Point Arts community. Hopefully we will find out more from them soon. I'm welcoming Nancy Dawson to our group, and hopefully we'll get a few more people. If you're somehow able to hear us, James Van Looy or Jan Rowe, we miss you. We hope you come back very, very soon. Maybe we'll be able to see each other face to face next week. I've been talking with the Garage Poets, whose members include Stone Soup regulars Jeff Taylor and Ethan Mackler. Jeff Taylor might be here at some point. Ethan is in parts unknown, so hopefully we will hear from him later, or we'll see him live next week if the gallery people say yes. We are in talks. I'll say we're in one-sided talks because no one's responded to me yet, but hopefully I got some more contacts and I'll be able to talk to them, and we'll get some results started. So we are going to start our double round robin open mic. The Remnant Native 5000 has chosen someone who we haven't seen for a little while. It's great to have him back, a past Stone Soup feature of the open mic era. First met him through the open mic era, thanks to other open mics, such as Tim Gager's Dire Literary Series. Let us welcome up Mr. John Stickney.
Thanks. Thank you, Chad. So much like some of the other people that are on the big board, I was doing the 30-30 challenge and posting on Chad's Stone Soup 30-30 National Poetry Month Facebook page. And I'm going to read one of my entries from there. Corresponding with ghost. The touch of the hand of the physical ghost will be like that of a rubber glove, or the feeling of water when one puts a hand over the side of a moving boat. It may feel like the flame of a candle when a moistened finger is quickly passed through, or like a mild but cool wind. Physical communication through touch is therefore difficult. Ghosts, it should be noted, are shy and less likely to speak unless asked direct questions. Even then, they are often less than truthful. They may knock or tap as on a window or a door or any nearby thing, but do not know or willingly ignore the contours of Morse code. These manners of communication are of limited utility. Written correspondence, especially letters, are often the most effective and congenial means of communication. Note, though, the dead letters section of the post office are specially set up to deal with these correspondences. Determining the correct delivery address and the proper amount of postage is often problematic. Thanks.
Thank you, John. I forgot to thank you for your participation in the 30-30. I've been trying to write so much, I completely forgot about the 30 for 30 until my girlfriend brought it up to me in a conversation. She said, you know, I think if I were to write the back of your book, if I was going to give you a quote for the back of your book, I would write, in the year 2020, Mr. Parento's poems took a more quotidian approach, reflecting the malaise of middle age and suburban life. I'm like, that's not true. I don't think that's true. She goes, I've read your last 5 poems. And I'm like, okay. But I'm under the gun on 30-30. You can't hold that to me. I'm over my head forever. But But thanks to everyone who participated in the 30-30. Actually, I think you're almost all of you are here. Julie, Julianne, John. What is it with the J team? Anyway, that might have to be our new team next year. That might have to be the new page. JP, people who start with J only. Get the fuck out, Valerie. Anyway, let us. I'm kidding, Valerie. Let's go now. The Remdinator 5000 has spoken, and our next person coming up is another birthday child for this past week. Let's welcome up Mr. Bill Lewis.
Yay, yay, I get to be on camera, yay. Oh, it's really weird because the camera's right in my nose and I put it right here. I just can't see my nose, but otherwise I'm looking at myself for the first time. That's pretty cool, wahoo. I'm gonna put an advertisement for this thing. I think this is just a great idea. Anyway, as you all probably know, because I talk about it all the time, my students have graduated. 30 weeks with little old me learning computer science, and they're all gone. I'm like crying, and I had a send off, and I think I showed you the diploma. I made them their very own Bill diploma. So there it is. Ta-da, David, yay, that was last year. So anyway, I'm just showing off and telling you how cool it is to have students, and life is beautiful. And yeah, life is beautiful. I'm getting into this thing, life. Yeah, I tell you, I know we all kick off at some point, but I've got stuff to do right now. Sure, I'll get around to it. I promise you, nobody lives forever. I will get around to dying, but right now, oh well. Oh, life is beautiful. And God, those kids were so enthusiastic. And the 30 weeks they came back to be with me. That is like, whoa. Reflections upon turning 70. Inside of every 70-year-old man, there is a 17-year-old kid yelling, "What happened? How did I achieve such a venerated age in such an incredibly short amount of time? And what I did in all these 70 years, as I am soon to pass from this mortal realm, was my time well used? In 50, 100 years, will I be anything more than a footnote in a computer science journal? Perhaps a graduate student in political science will come upon my missives of Occupy Wall Street and Occupy Boston and get a chuckle, then turn the page. When I lie upon my deathbed, awake and coherent for the final hour, what will I think of? What will I say? A life filled of missed opportunity, errors, regrets, the women I have loved and lost. What monster am I that they should now detest me so? I could easily cry my way into oblivion, but I shan't. I fully expect to be lying there telling old friends about the class that I substituted for at JLS Middle School. The most obnoxious, wild, ill-mannered little monsters ever. Let me tell you, I was literally standing in front of this class, yelling at them to be quiet, and they mocked me. I went right up to this one kid, and I looked him right in the face, and I said, "If you make me laugh one more time, you are going to be in so much trouble. I'm going to tell your regular teacher to go on your permanent record, and you will be in deep doo-doo." And the class is screaming their heads off. Stop having fun. No having fun in my classroom. At this point in the story, I'm usually laughing so hard that upon my deathbed, I shall immediately have a heart attack. It shall explode from laughter, and I shall be gone. Poof! all that will remain of me is a few thousand students who learned to ask uncomfortable questions, who saw a different way to be, who will now see opportunities where others see nothing. That's something I can die with.
Ah, mortality. I hate it. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. And the Ramdonator 5000 is selected. Its next contestant on the round robin is right here, or whatever we're going to call the show. We're sending names out to test groups. Let's welcome up, straight from New York, voted the one to watch by the Jehovah's Witness Committee of New York. Let's welcome up Patricia Kerrigan.
Hi. Okay, tomorrow's my birthday, and in honor of my birthday, I'm going to read a poem I wrote 2 years ago. Caution, inspired by the Killers. Birthday wishes died at midnight when Cinderella ditched her prince. Her blacktop beginning saw tarot swords march in 3s, 8s, 9s, and 10s. By cathedral doors, cautionary tales took root. By the promenade, a song rallied for change. Under mandatory incognito, she fought for her sanity through caution west of the bay. As seagulls flew around her, she raised her arms to the sun, lips in affirmation, found freedom when the mask behind her mask lost its grip, fell to the rocks below. Thank you.
Slippery fingers tonight. Thank you so much, Patricia. And let's see where the randomator takes us to now. It says now it's selecting one of our phone participants. So I'm going to ask Nancy to press *6 and unmute herself. And let's welcome up Nancy Dawson.
Sickness, a sad day to be sick, and oh, how I ache, the world dying around me. Why, Lord, kill me? I wish to live desperately each day in your creation, rejoicing gladness in every moment, not hating the day because of non-energetic sin. In quietness and loving confidence, I am thine. After reading about war.
Thank you, Nancy.
Give Nancy
Me hand-
Dodson the star.
What was that, Carol?
I give Nancy Dodson a star.
Oh, that's an official star from Carol Weston. Very good. That's the highest honor. The rest of us have nowhere else to go but down now. Okay, we are moving on to our next poet, and let's welcome up. I've called him Gentleman Galt before, but he's going under a new name now. It's Magister Galt, and it's his turn to read. So says the Ramdonator 5000. Beep, boop, beep. Ed, you're up.
Ed, you're muted.
Thank you. This is called The Sip. I wrote it a while ago. Kind of a fun poem. I gave Dad the beer, having sneaked a sip myself. He was occupied by the game and wasn't going to miss one drop. And when the man appeared on TV, and then the man appeared on TV with that saw that could cut through the cinder blocks, but you had to order now because there was a limited supply and it wasn't available at your local retailer. Dad loved this commercial. He needed a laugh after the captain of the team fumbled the ball at the climax of the game, costing us the championship. By the way, he said, I saw you take that sip. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Magister Galt. And I don't know if I should say that with a different accent. Let's welcome up next onto our open mic, Miss Julie Marie Hoey.
Hi. I have one that I wrote a while ago, but I do have other ones that are positive. This one is not. Unrelenting. I've got nothing to lose and nothing to gain as I sit and absorb unending rain. Upon my shoulders, stinging my eyes, clipping my wings, fashioning the guise. I know to ring false, still voices haunt in this fragile, deep void I live in. Listening to my latest demise, darkness abounds as reason takes flight. Enter in madness, a space I know well, surrounding my own, casting its spell. Over and around, above and beyond, inside and out, creating the hollow. I try to avoid, I try to take hold of tomorrow's light, but so quickly I fold into the darkness, into abyss, into myself. I'm weary from this. Still, I plod on till lightness permeates, sending relief, a new bed I'll make. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. And let's see who to pick next. Yes, let's see if he's on, see if he's able to stay on here. We've been having some difficulties. I think he can only voice himself when he is in the bathroom, on the toilet seat, standing on one foot, such as the state of Wi-Fi. Hopefully he'll be one of the millions of people getting free Wi-Fi courtesy of Biden. Let's welcome up Mr. Chris Fitzgerald. Yeah, guys,
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. That's great. Keep going.
Okay. This is the completion of last week's piece. In America, it always seems to come down to the conflict between small town and big city life. Take the 2016 presidential election as an example. New York City has been the center of American urban 50 years. Boston was the first 150 years. New York had one of their own in the 2016 election from Queens, Donald Trump. 82% of his fellow New Yorkers voted for a person who grew up in a small suburb of Chicago. And of that 82%, 90% of them thought Trump should be thrown out with the dirty diapers. And of that 90%, 67% of them
He'll be back. See, told you.
in New York's urban culture, Donald Trump is considered a smart-ass wannabe. And the smart-ass wannabe is held in even lower repute than the gangster wannabe. And no one has accepted a phone call from the gangster wannabe. Well, it'll be 6 years, not next Thursday, but the next. Or when you reach for the upper joy to the city of birth, or you don't. Trump is considered the 7th, 8th grade schoolyard boy and backs up with these repulsive 5th, 6th grade facial grimaces that utilize to help cover up the lack of any sort of character in his face. Well, let's go to the good stuff. My two favorite New York City smartasses, both from Manhattan. The first one, a poor Jewish kid with all these brothers, helped them with the family income at 13, 14, 15. Even after he became really rich, he didn't go to bed without checking to see the lights were turned off. He said they have the electricity turned off 3 or 4 times due to non-payment. The depression was tough. George Bernard Shaw called Groucho Marx the finest comic actor on the planet. My favorite line out of scores of
I do hope we can at least get him in live so we can get one interrupted.
most famous movie star of all time, Humphrey DeForest Bogart. Very well-to-do family, Dutch, New Amsterdam. His father was a renowned heart surgeon. New Yorkers from the get-go. Indeed, 5-6 weeks before Peter Minuet bought the Isle of Manhattan from the natives for $24 with the beads, Bogey had a direct ancestor offer the same natives the same property, $17 with the beads. Take friggin' flying hike the natives to them. And the family ended up having a cheap stink on them for the next 180, 190 years. So finally, one of the family members sponsored a couple of inner city kids to go to the Catskills for the summer. Shit, it was hot that summer. Shit, it was hot. No one ever brought them more New Yorkers to life.
Stand on the left foot on the toilet, Chris, not the right, the left.
Rick, I was misinformed. Beautiful New York sass. When I was 18, 19, the next line, saying to myself, if I don't say this line at least twice, I won't be able to look at my life as a success. The line was when Bergman points the gun in Rick's face. I want the letters of transit or I will shoot you. Rick says, go ahead, shoot me. You'll be doing me a favor. I regret I was never given the opportunity. And when Major Strasser bragging about how well the war is going for Germany, we got Paris, London next, and what, Washington, New York? Rick says to that bully Berlinian bastard, you certain neighborhoods in New York, how would you Germans? I wouldn't be too quick to enter. In your face, scumbag. Pure gold. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris. And now we bring us to next person on the open mic. It's Julian Powers. Yay.
Thanks, Chad.
There you are.
Thank you, guys. Okay, this one is called Ghost. Even when he was alive, he was a ghost, haunting the night. I snuck through the house frightened, while he was hunched over in the corner, just barely there. When I was 8, I went to Germany. My sister stayed home to watch me. One of those evenings, I saw this long ghost lying on the couch. This was right before my father became but a shadow. When I was 15, at Wampatuck State Park Proving Grounds in Hingham, Mass, I slipped through the fence of that private government property compound. There I saw another ghost. This time I wasn't alone. Friends saw it with me, walking our way up the hall of the main abandoned building. Think that it was an old hospital or laboratory. The ghost looked like a general in the army. This place was built for World War II, then was abandoned once through. My father's spirits since left his flesh prison. Now he could be a ghost I haven't yet seen. The fear he instilled in me, so fresh always, I bet he has enough shadows to keep him happy for many years. Maybe he haunts places I've never gone or been. Doubt he could watch over me if there's such thing, though it seems clear others might be. One ghost out there, I think, since he could never once see us as we, but for any love I am lucky. The ghosts in us have us haunting each other, with death as no constraint. It seems gates aren't great at keeping us separated. Keeps us wondering which side is free. Meat cages might be the farthest we can flee from suffering. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian. And now I'm going to bring us to, yes, this would be the perfect follow-up. Miss, I'm going to ask her to prep as I unmute her. She's been listening patiently. She's been coming to the events patiently, and I hope that when we are live, as soon as we get confirmation, she'll be able to be with us again. Let us welcome up Carol Weston.
Yeah. So I'm going to read about my first job, which was in the largest mental hospital in the world. Toilet paper floating in the trees, eyes looking out from behind bars. 1,000 people walking side by side, 2 by 2, in the early afternoon to the movies. The sunsets in Brentwood are like the paintings of Poussin, said Mr. Stander, the aristocratic patient. My friends think that I am in Europe. I learned the Lord's Prayer at the age of 2, said the black blind boxer. Jack Johnson never paid me back my $500. In the sewing shop, a woman with white powder on her face and rouge, who had danced professionally in New York City, pretended to fence with her knitting needle. The judge was there for trying to assassinate Thomas E. Dewey. He taught me that the ginkgo tree with cone-shaped leaves
Thank you, Carol.
No. Part Indian, let's see. A very ancient tree. One very gentle man who told me he spent the weekend with his best friend, a book, was there for murdering his wife. Bill Inch, part Indian, 7 feet tall. We went through buildings 25 and 8 with the library cart, singing I Ride an Old Paint, till my boss in OT looked up your prison record. I went out to you on your bench on the grounds and burst into tears to tell you I could no longer work with you. Kirchin, you read for the patient poetry program your poem, Time Has a Tinsel Virtue. There lasts out the day. You sculpted from wood the Asclepian snake. Of medicine and wore it around your neck. Henry, basket maker in the ceramic shop, you taught me not to cut a branch back, but let it die naturally. Jack, who had had a lobotomy, you wore fresh evergreen every morning. In your lapel and brought forth 30 pots a day on the potter's wheel. Mansfield had a suitcase of poems that had been turned down by poetry magazines, she said. I had to leave my work after 3 years at the hospital. Okay, I will have to end there. Okay.
To be continued.
Thank you so much.
There's a second round to the Robin, so don't despair.
Okay, thank you.
And we're going to move now to our get well. This is our get well soon moment for our next person on the open mic, who actually has a new manuscript coming out. How do I know that? Well, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, special privileges. But I'm sure he'll tell you all about it. Let's welcome up Mr. John Wisick.
Thank you, Chad. Well, yes, a new manuscript, but those things are always in the work for years, and so it just takes forever. This poem I thought was obsolete until I took a home COVID test. So here we go. I love the smell of COVID in the morning. YouTube. Shit. I'm still stuck at home watching YouTube. Every time I think I'm gonna wake up able to go someplace other than the grocery store. When I went to the in-person reading after the first lockdown, it was worse. They were all coughing and sniffing, practically sitting on each other's laps. I hardly spoke to anyone until I said I'm leaving. When I was here, I wanted to be there. When I was there, all I could think about was getting back to safety. I've been here for years now, waiting for a feature, getting warier. Every minute I stay in this room, I get warier. And every month the virus circulates in the UK and Africa, it mutates into another Greek letter. Each time I look around, the walls move in a little tighter. I love the smell of COVID in the morning. You know, last time I thought it was safe. I hadn't left home for 12 months. When they said the vaccine was enough, I walked over to Lisa's Pizza. Didn't find one of them, not one stinking mask anywhere. The smell. You know, that garlic and oregano smell. The whole street smelled like normalcy. Someday, this pandemic's gonna end.
Wow. Nice stuff, John. Up next, before we get to our closer, it looks like we got joined by Kathleen Hulser again. And if she's interested in reading, she can do so now. I think you read for one of the two round robin rounds last week, and it looks like you're muted.
Oh,
There
okay.
you go. There you are. We can hear you now.
Well, okay. I will read a little something. Everything is furniture. Everything is furniture. The glaring red recliner, the Naga couch, suitable for a man cave, the welt-giving chair, and worse, the fake smile on the artificial face, the shoulder shrug that undulates like a dog skidding on the rug, the boots on ottoman insulting the kilim, the words that rose like sheetrock on the quickie starter house in a treeless subdivision. Emotional furniture from job lot, press boards still sticky with glue, badly poured resin ridging like lava ooze, furniture prematurely destined for a crunchy death in the maw of a garbage truck. Thanks. I'm done.
Thank you much. And now to end the first round of this round robin roundabout. I can't keep the consonants going. The first round, we're going to go to Mr. C.C. Ashagra. Who is unmuted.
Okay, yeah, okay. I decided to play a video, a short, very short video, followed by another very short video that I made a long time ago, text animation. They're both poetry kind of related. And I'm working on this manuscript that has all poems that are 3 to 5 lines. They're very short. So it's a quick little triptych, probably altogether shorter than a poem. This is, I'm gonna need screen sharing, as they say.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out here. I wonder why I don't seem to have that option to give it to you. Give me 1 second.
You hit the green button.
Yep.
And then pick one of the 2 options.
It's not giving it. I'm going right to the whiteboard. I hope the things didn't update while my back was turned. Give me 1 second. Something is.
It's not that I'm short of reaching over and pulling one of 7 million pieces of paper out of the drawer.
Just give me
whatever you do, Chad, don't cut the red wire.
Oh, here we go.
Just not.
Okay. We are good.
Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, yeah. Okay, I might have to do this twice because I haven't prepped in two different places, but maybe not. Let's see. Are you getting an echo?
Nope.
Okay, this is called the Aeters, which is basically the word theater separated, which I didn't have to tell you, but I did. What? Oh. Okay, that's one. And the other one is, nope, that's you. What do I do with it? Okay, this is a song. And it's queued up. It's only 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And there a little bit of a text animation thing in the beginning, but I'm taking all that out. So it's just a few seconds and then we'll start.
Just make sure you have the sound shared.
Yep. It's silent until it starts. I'll stop it if it doesn't go ding in a second.
Mhm.
Dedicated to the spaghetti. Is anybody crying? So, yeah, and now for the poetry part of the little thing here. Between the quietude of noise and the flowers of thought's blooming beauty, poetry comes to mind. Intangible mirrors break open the mind, while breathing still lives you. And the last one, I want to love your coming death lessons, to learn from the dying that waits to love you there. And the name of that manuscript is Stories and Poems, subtitled Because I Cannot Decide on a Word to Call God. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Dun, dun. Thank you so much, CC.
Oh, thank you for that little dot dot. I needed that. 2 bits.
And now we're gonna need take a 0.5-second break. Okay, that's it. And we're back to the second round robin. We're on the second round now. And the Ramdonator approved of his random selections of who went first and who went last. So we're gonna keep on doing that moving forward. And we're gonna start with, once again, Mr. John Stickney.
Thanks, Chet. So when I was doing the 30-30, I was going to a web Facebook page called 30-30 Poetry that daily would put out a prompt, and I was writing based upon the prompts. And this was one of the prompts, the title, Loophole. That contract with the devil is pretty ironclad, my lawyer, a minor demon, said. Any character witnesses? Well, I said, there's New York Theo and his cousin Ohio Theo and their cousin Columbus Leo, not to be confused with Leo Cincinnati. Then there's Bent Nose Vinny and Vinny the Hip, Little Vinny and Vinny Too Big, Jude's brother, Vinny the less obscure, and the always dapper gentleman, L.A. Vincent. So many damn Vinnies, my lawyer said, and not a one that ain't in some adjacent anteroom filled with lava, shouting about their innocence. How about Rocky, I said. Rocky's always been a stand-up guy. You know, he dyed yellow, right? My lawyer said, crossing another name off the list. This here, his green-gray nail points to the contract's good works clause. May be your only hope in hell. So think. 1, accidentally overtipped a sex worker. 2, inadvertently shot a bad guy hidden among 4 good guys. Good guys also shot. 3, love of animals evidenced by feeding the sharks. 4, charging that widow 3% less on her husband's debt. See 1 and 3 above. 5, put the toilet seat down at night. 6, gave that homeless guy who won the homeless fight a mid-shelf bottle of Jack. What are my chances, I asked. Well, Snowball, let us just wait and see. Who knows, maybe the judge is in a forgiving mood. Hey, I say, Snowball's my cat. Thanks.
Thank you, John. And we're gonna hear one more time from our birthday boy from a couple of days ago, Mr. Bill Lewis. Whoops, you unmuted yourself. You gotta unmute yourself. There you go.
Oh, wait, I have to talk too, don't I? Okay, I got to remember that.
I have to take
Unmute
Xanax.
and talk. So I am in Facebook trouble. My cousin had posted a picture of some of the girls at the lake, and I had commented to her that we should kidnap her sister and take her to the spa, because for Christmas I told Cindy I would pay for a nice spa visit, and Facebook did not think that was funny. Okay. However, my beautiful cousin had put up some pictures of a young lady wearing a very attractive bikini, if you could find it. Yeah, there wasn't much to be seen, and the young lady in question having a very good time displaying how attractive she was. And my little heart is going. Remember that saying that 15-year-old boys think about sex or something erotic every 15 minutes? But they didn't tell you that that was permanent. So anyway, there it is. That's part of, yeah. And I'm trying to be polite. And the last picture, the young lady is turned around and, oh, it's Becca. She used to ride around on my shoulders when she was 8 years old. Yes. I taught her to row. She was so excited because the big kids were kind of ignoring her. Here she had me to teach her how to row a boat and be a real tough out in woods stores woodswoman. And so it was really cool. And yeah, there with that picture. And I have a very, very lovely niece. And oh, excuse me. The following poem was written poetic piece. With all the great honors to the author hereof. Bill Lewis's missing L was snatched from the cradle just like a Lindbergh lad. The law looked for llama named Lloyd, known by locals to lay about in a lawn chair in Langley Park. As luck would have it, he turned out not to be a Latin American variety of livestock, but a llama of the Tibetan kind, so the law had to let him go. Suspicion fell on Lyle Lovett, who was seen at a local Food Lion with a roll of lifesavers. This list of suspects lengthened to include Laura Linney, Lindsay Lohan, Lissy Lou, Lori Lohan, Linda LaRoche, Larry Lussig, and Linda Lunch. Larry Lubjek, LWS, said the investigation was so lousy it was laughable. When law-abiding citizens of Lafayette, Louisiana found a lonely L loitering by the lagoon, it was too late. The birth certificate was already lodged with the legal authorities. Thank you very much to the great and brilliant author, John Wethick. Thank you, John. Thank you. You rock. That was so cool.
Lovely. let us leave Bill now to find his other L, and we will move to the next poet on the open mic, Miss Patricia Kerrigan. Oh, there she is.
Happy birthday, Bill. Okay. I put on my mother's shoes and walked on city streets, crossed asphalt and cobblestone gutters, climbed various staircases to subways, schools, jobs, apartments, sometimes took elevators when available. I felt the leather tighten, heard souls sigh. Pain rose up vascular roadways. A headache signaled to action. Her past, a telepathic rerun. I already knew how it would end. Emotions created her walls and lines, and no two fingerprints were alike. Unanswered questions stepped on anger and grief, wondered why I still shrink in my own shoes. Thank you. little serious, but tired. Thank you.
I hear you. Thank you so much, Patricia. We're going to move now to Mr. Ed Magister Galt. I could get used to that nickname.
Okay. So this one is called To the Would-Be Plagiarist. Sir, if I could speak to you about that poem you found, that paper you found, on it you may have noticed a poem with no byline. That was because it was a work copy. I didn't mean for it to get published like that. I wanted to revise it before I sent it out. Instead, I lost it, at least that copy. So read it, snicker, then tear it up and throw it away. That way we both win. Now, yes, I did say it was only a copy. Since there is no name on it, you don't know who I am. For all you know, I could be famous. For all you know, I could be famous. On the poem could be, or the poem could be famous. And have been taught in the school for years, for all you know. And you really don't know, now do you? So think about that before you send it or email it someplace with your name on it. There is a very good chance that you will be caught. No one is immune. Some very big names have been caught. There are people out there looking out for this all the time. It's what they do, and they're good at it. If you're going to do something with it, make damn well certain that it looks a lot different than what you have, because that's crap. And I really don't think you want to take the credit for that anyway. Now, do you? And by the way, wouldn't it be a lot easier to just write your own damn poem than to put a lot of effort into camouflaging the fact you stole mine? So just tear it up. Good. Throw the pieces into the barrel over there. Excellent. Now we both win. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Galt. And now we have Julie Marie Hoey, who has an upcoming art show in June. We'll post news about that as it gets closer to the date. And Julie, the mic is yours.
Thank you. This is a short one. It's 6 lines. A whispering. Dawn comes, breathing hope. Evening and rain, whispering journey towards truth and love. Thanks.
And up next, I'm going to go to one of our phone group, and we're going to wake up. We're going to poke Nancy Dawson. And Nancy, it's your turn.
Cool and chilly. In a cool, chilly wind and weather, the dogs come in right away. It's not my turn to go out. First, it will kill the plants. House plants are bedded ones. Fear of a kill makes me bring them in tonight. Frost kill or what? Will they survive? I doubt it.
Thank you, Nancy. Always a pleasure to have you. We are moving on to Mr. Chris Fitzgerald. If he's able to unmute himself. Chris may or may not be with us. Okay, it looks like Chris is indisposed for the moment. So we're going to move on to.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes, we
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. All right, I've done like 12 pages the last month or so. Same thing. This is the first 2 pages that started the whole thing, how I got down there. I am probably one of the best name droppers some of you have come in contact with. I'm going to ask you again to indulge me once again. National Poetry Month. I want to have something special to celebrate the occasion. This pop music literary quote came into my head. It's from James Joyce, early part of the 20th century. If you ask Joyce, what do? He wouldn't say he was a novelist or a short story writer. He would tell you he was a friggin' poet. It's not his poetry I shall deal with now, but he was the first one to make me aware that it wasn't poetry that was the criticism of modern life anymore, but popular music. My initial feelings about popular music. They gave me the feeling men and women had gotten laid on Saturday night and no one had told them about the wonderful explosiveness of intimacy. So now it's Tuesday and I've had a Joycean epiphany. Fuck this, I gotta tell the world what love is and what's it got to do with it? What's it got to do with it? Hang on, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang on. Sloopy lives in a very, very bad part of town. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And everybody, yeah, tries to put my Sloopy down. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Sloopy, I don't give 2 fucks what your daddy do. Ooh, ooh, ooh. 'Cause you know, Sloopy girl, I'm in love with you. And so I sang out, hang on, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang on. Yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Don't forget to tip the waitresses.
Thank you, Mr. Chris. Oh, and he vanished again. Let's welcome up next, Miss Julie, and he's back again. That's what. Tony, he's in. I'm telling you, Chris is in the matrix. He cannot be destroyed. Let's welcome up Julianne Powers.
Hi, I'm back. I'm going to show you, but I'll read some lines from this book I got.
You might want to turn the video
by
off.
Ferlinghetti.
Oh, there we go. There you go.
Thank you. I'm going to read a few lines from this book. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. So I'm going to read a few lines from Back Roads to Far Places by Ferlinghetti. As morning mocks its flowers by becoming afternoon, for we have our moments of ecstasy, and then the bird falls into the absurd, and when the white firs stand up on the dandelion stem, it is time to blow. O man in saffron, in the golden gate chanting Hare Krishna, squatting lotus among the fern fronds, at sundown no more Krishna, the fern fronds unrolled. Ah, day is done, and fish float through the trees, eating the seeds of the sun. We were born under the mulberry trees, from which drop the myrna birds of madness. Black rooks like clouds of burnt paper, flowing through the skies. And the wind hides itself in a hollow tree and whistles out at me. A million wild green seahorses shake out their white manes forever on the beach of the small round stones. Will the world ever change? Thank you.
Thank you, Julianne. And now we go to our second and final phone participant, who I'm going to help unmute right now, Miss Carol Questin.
Thank you. Well, so I will finish the Pilgrim State. Mansfield had a suitcase of poems that had been turned down by Poetry Magazine, she said. I had to leave my work after 3 years at the hospital because I screamed under pressure from my boss in occupational therapy not to run the patient poetry program during work hours. When I left, Mansfield, with a suitcase of poems, committed suicide. Toilet paper floating in the trees, eyes looking out from behind bars. 1,000 people walking side by side, 2 by 2, in the early afternoon to the movies.
Bravo, Carol.
Yes.
And now we have the return of John Wezick.
Thank you, Chad. You know, when anybody asks me to read a cover poem, I usually choose this one. It's called I Like My Own Poems by Jack Grapes. I like my own poems best. I quote from them from time to time, saying, a poet once said, and then follow up with a line or two from one of my own poems, appropriate to the event. How those lines sing, all that wisdom and beauty, why, it tickles my ass off its spine. Why, those lines are mine, I say, and Jesus, what a bang I get out of it. Like the ideas in them, my poems, ideas that hit home, they speak to me. I mean, I understand what the hell the damn poet's talking about. Why, I've been there, the same thing I shout, and Christ, what a shot it is, a shot. And hey, the words, woo, I can hardly stand it. Words shoot or not fail this guy. I say, from some world only he knows, he bangs the bong. But I can feel it in the wood of the word, rising to its form in the world. Now you gotta be good to do that, I say, and damn, it just shakes my heart, you know. Jack Grapes.
I think you've recited one of his poems before.
Am I? Okay, it probably was this one. So
I can't remember. I'm gonna have to go back in the catalog. Very nice. Kathleen, would you be interested in reading again?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Match to gasoline. Malevolent acceleration into altered states, fraught with promise and pearl. Intensity propels you to the edge, falling 2 ways. Adrenaline fights, born of blood rush, gulp the extinction moment, the ungainly possibility of catastrophe. Disastrous fireworks, it's the aurora borealis of the soul. What's not to like? I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, I believe we are at the second round robin. We're in the we are at the final round. The score is tied between both boxers, and only one person can break the tie. No, that doesn't make any sense at all. I've watched boxing, and I marvel at my own stupidity. I'd be a bad commentator. Let's welcome up Mr. C.C. Ashagra.
Okay, hi, how art thou? All right. This was on the heels of what Carol read, and then maybe something at the other end of the spectrum. from yet another new manuscript project. This one's called Off the Earth. And right now it's titled Off the Earth number 10.5. Hunting for reasons to murder, oppressing to not be oppressed, an education to prep you, to be prepared for all is propaganda digesting you, teaching ethics to weed out the ethical, banning critical imagination theory, lacking the credit score to afford an imagination. And on the other end of the spectrum, poetry can save lives. And this one is for, I think Carol remembers her, we used to call her Ma Barker, I think, Elizabeth Barker. And back in the day when Jack was around, she would come around. She was, I don't know, maybe in her 80s, maybe even in the 90s. And she did all the prison poetry readings, grant after grant. And then they cut her money. And she'd go back in and teach poetry to prisons. And in the history of her life, even though they kept cutting her funding, she, no one that ever went to one of her poetry classes in prison ever went back to prison, which is probably why they cut her funding. So that's oppressing, not to be oppressed, and educate. I said it was the last poem. Let's move on. This one here says, poetry can save lives. Poetry can heal where there are wounds. Poetry can bring peace to where violence resides. Poetry can heal and set free the eternal hold of pain is. Poetry can unite where division is sowed by words or deeds or by and by thoughts done. Poetry can teach harm its harm. Poetry can wake reality to dream. Poetry can cure the voice, all languages, symbols, and vibrations and sounds. Poetry is a living essence that has always been in the sea of silence here. Poetry can be abused and still uncover the birth where abuse ends. Poetry can end war. Poetry can free imprisoned questions. Poetry can end racism. Poetry can end ethnic and religious hatreds and their soul. Poetry can stop slavery from enslaving the mind. Poetry can let your own truths die and rest in peace. Poetry can come home to you and the universal now. And now, and now, poetry can save lives. Don't give up. It was all eugenics.
Dear Lord.
I don't know why I threw that in there. That last part wasn't in the poem. It's all eugenics.
Oh God. Anyway.
The Nuremberg Code. The Nuremberg Code.
Silent Green is people.
Next week, next time we have a whole bunch of people here who are new. All of us should start. At least two or three of us should start yelling out random things, and I just mute you and like cut you off. Like, oh, sorry guys, we don't need to see that. And just have someone just everyone go ranting crazy, and be like, oh, thank you guys.
Terrible idea. Booth was sponsored by the FBI to kill Genghis Khan. We must.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Good job.
And don't forget about Charlemagne either. And the
You're gonna kill off all your ancestors. Jesus.
Good Lord. And Frank was an inside job. Wait,
and the Habsburgs. The Habsburgs are behind.
Blame it on the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, there you go. Oh my
And
God.
Frank was a-
Knocking on your mailbox, yeah.
All right. Enough of the controversial, nonsensical things. I don't even know what.
I want to quote John. Tickles my ass off its spine.
Jesus.
That was too good, John.
It is.
You're quoting Jack Grapes.
It wouldn't be a Stone Soup moment if someone wasn't saying something that was completely nuts. It wouldn't be a Stone Soup May anniversary month if we didn't have at least one nutbag saying something completely off the hinge. That's how we know we've come full circle for another year. I will go.
Nutbag.
Exactly. Oh my God. We America, remember the Marx Brothers? No, I don't know. What I'm just paraphrasing Ginsburg now. Anyway, badly. Thank you all for coming. I'm not sure what next week holds yet. Hopefully we're gonna have some answers. Check out later on tonight on the Stone Soup Facebook page. I'm gonna be posting some more Stone Soup memorabilia / collectibles / relics from the past of the 80s and 90s. We've had some interesting stuff. I was hoping some posts I did would have actually sparked some memories, but some of the people who I've posted seem to be lost to time, but hopefully not forever. And hopefully I'll recall some more gems and hopefully some stuff that we actually can have names I know attached to. I actually found one. Charles Coe's name's attached to it all the way back from I think the 80s or early 90s, and more and more to come. There's still an entire box I haven't opened yet. So I'll be looking over that tonight. Someone's asking when I'm going to read. I'll start getting into the habit again very soon. I haven't been writing a whole lot and I'm not comfortable reading the crouton poems sometimes, but hopefully, and plus I've been hitting a rut. Like when Margaret made that book quote about me, it actually did resonate a little bit more. And I almost denied it out of I lied almost when I was denied. And she's like, I read your last 3 poems. I'm like, when have you read my poem? She's like, when I'm reading your blog, because I miss you. And I'm like, uh-oh. This can't be good. So hopefully my depressing writer's niche, like tunnel vision, will hopefully be broken. And I hope all of you will be around for that. And I hope to announce some really good news in the next 2 days, especially as I get my project cleared for work, and I'll hopefully get some new information. Patricia, I'll wish you a happy birthday tomorrow on Stone Soup and in secret. Or a relative secret. Only 400, 500 people will know. And happy birthday to everyone else. I'll post a link to my friend Ron Goba, who's not on Facebook, but his birthday also falls tomorrow. If anyone remembers Ron Goba from the old days, you were very lucky. If not, I actually owe him a call and an email tonight. So I'll be looking forward to that tomorrow and tonight. So thank you all. It's time to do the obligatory wave. And hopefully some good news about a live show and what we can do for the people who are lingering in the back, who can't travel from all the way from New York or wherever the hell you are to Boston. We'll hopefully have some announcements for that too. And hopefully I'll be able to. Who is maniacally laughing?
Me.
Oh, okay. God, the Jehovah's Witnesses were right about you. Anyway, God.
I'm getting it from Bill.
Oh my God. Okay.
You're the birthday boy.
Oh my. Thank you guys very much, and have a good night. Hopefully the garage will be celebrating with the Garage Poets next week, one way or another. It can be like this every week. Come moving forward. All we need is you. Have a good night. We'll talk to you later.
We're going to be here no matter what anyway for next week, right?
I would think so.
Okay.
All right. Take care.
Love you all. Night.
Night,
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Chad.
Thank you all.